Hello BookTube, my name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with my January 2022 TBR. Say it with me everybody, it's TBR time! Yay! Another year, another group of TBRs. So I'm super excited. I am super excited about all the books that I have picked. I have changed things around a bit on my TBR and the way I pick books based on my reading goals, if you will, for 2022. I'm super excited. So like I say, I have a lot of books here. Will I get to them all? Probably not. I'm going to try, but it's more of a pile of possibilities. I really like when people are saying that now. And I was in a live show last night with Rainy over at Rainy Day Reads on her channel. And a lot of people were talking about their goals for 2022. And a lot of people were like, we don't have goals. And I love that. I absolutely love that. They're just going to read and enjoy reading again. And, I tried this last year and I'm really going to try again this year that this is what I want to do. But I do like having a good chunk of books to pick from every month. So I actually have 27 books here to share with you guys. But I feel like I'm being conservative, like for me. There has been times that I've sat down here that I've had 30 plus books. So, it's not that much off from 27. However, a lot of the books that I do have on here are a bit on the shorter side. I do have like 5 books that I know for sure sit around 150 pages each. So they are books that I can probably very easily get to, and audio is going to be my friend, I think. I've really come to embrace the fact that audio is just what's easiest for me for reading. And I'm really excited. So let me go through everything here and share it with you. I'm not going to state there's only 2 books I'm going to say these are definitely on audio. Some of them I may be able to get on audio, some I might not. I'll decide once I get to the book itself. So yeah, so let's go through how I have categorized everything, because you guys know I love doing these TBRs in sections. So the biggest section is shelf picks. I went through my shelves. I kind of sat here earlier in December and I looked at my physical shelves. I looked at some of my digital shelves and I pulled some books in particular that I really wanted to read in January, that I was really excited about. So, and then for the rest of the books on this list, I literally took my want to read list on Goodreads and randomized it and just picked some books that way as well. So that's going to kind of help me get through my TBR. And in 2022, I'm not going to be afraid to DNF a book. If I'm not enjoying a book, I'm putting the book down and moving on to the next one because life is too short. So let's get into these. Now, the one thing that is not on this list, you guys know that I have been loving going to the library. Sorry for the shaking camera. It's because the books are sitting here. I've been loving going to the library, but I think I'm going to step back from that in 2022. Mainly because I found the one thing is that I wasn't reading a lot of the books that I was picking. I'd be like, taking all these books to the library and then not getting to them. The other thing is that there's another challenge on here that's probably going to have me using my library to get some of the books. So that's kind of my way of being able to use the library. However, there is one book that I took out at the end of November. I actually put this one on hold and I still have it. Nobody else has it on hold. I have renewed it. So I'm good until about mid to late January on this one, but it's one that I am really wanting to read and I'm very excited, and it's going to seem morbid, but I am obsessed now with reading her books. And that's From Here to Eternity, Traveling the World to Find the Good Death by Caitlin Doughty. So I am very much looking forward to getting to this one in January. I know she narrates the audiobook. There are some pictures in here, but nothing, I think they're more just graphic drawings. Do you know what I mean? Nothing to actually, not necessarily to do with the book per se, but just more graphic drawings. So yeah, I am interested. I am looking forward to this one. So in October, if you're new to my channel, I did read Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs by her, which is a middle grade book about death and the science of death, not the spiritual aspect of it. But I just found it really interesting. I like her humor. I'm a big fan of her YouTube channel. I do follow her on Instagram. So it's interesting. To me, it's very interesting. So, and I like the approach that she has to to what it is that she talks about. So I am looking forward to that one. So that's the only library book, like actual library book, that I will be getting to. The next one is Finding Paradise by Barbara Dunlop. This is book number 2 in the Paradise Alaska series. This is a small town contemporary romance series set in Alaska. I read the first book, I think, last year, and I really liked it. I do have this one from NetGalley, so I'm looking forward to getting to it. It looks really, really cute. Again, I have read this one before. So I'm looking forward to this one. So the one thing I do want to mention before I continue is that I did check, and only about half of the books I'm going to talk about are romance, which is kind of my bread and butter. I love romance novels, but yet for some reason, a lot of the books that I have picked, or that have been picked essentially, are not romance. And I really like that aspect of kind of delving outside of romance. I will always come back to romance because it's my safe spot. It's my happy place. If I need a good pick-me-up, I'll pick up a good contemporary romance or a historical romance. But I do like delving outside of that. And in 2022, I kind of really want to try some new things. And I am really proud of myself for picking these up because I really shied away from these. I heard so many people talking about her books last year and the year before, like When Smoke Gets in Your Eyes was a huge one on BookTube for a while. And I really shied away from it. But I'm excited to try things that are a little bit different. So the next one is a thriller, and it is called Hidden, and it's by Laura Griffin. It is book number 1 in the Texas Murder Files series. I think I have read this author before, but I can't remember 100%. I know this is a thriller. That's all I know about it. I like to go into my thrillers a little bit blind, so I'm excited about this one. The next one is another thriller, and that is Kill All Your Darlings by David Bell. Both this one and Hidden are both also from NetGalley, so I'm looking forward to this one. The one thing I find I don't read a lot of are male authors. Not because I don't like them, but it's just not something I tend to gravitate towards. So I'm excited about reading this one. I think it's something about a child going missing. I really don't know. Again, I don't want to know. When it comes to a thriller, I just want to get into the thriller itself. So the next one, this is one that when I was perusing my shelves, I had bought this copy a year ago or sometime in 2021. And this is a book that I read in high school. I read it for the first time in high school, so I was about 17. And I think I only read it the one time. But this book made a huge impact on me. And this really started to define my reading after that into my early 20s. Because I read this book and then I went on to read Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire, her Witch series, and kind of got more into that. I mean, I was already reading the spookier stuff because I was reading R.L. Stine and Christopher Pike, but they were definitely more YA-centric, whereas this felt a little bit more adult. Now, I do know that these books are labeled as YA, and I believe the reason is because the protagonists are YA, or like teenagers, essentially. But like I said, these books really kind of defined my reading, and I read all of her books after this. But I'm really excited about getting back to this one. I actually found a copy on audio, so I will be listening to it on audio, so that will be a lot of fun. And that's Ruby by V.C. Andrews, which is the first book in her Landry series. This is the series that also made me fall in love with New Orleans. I don't know why, what it was. This is like one of the first books I remember reading that took place in New Orleans. And I remember falling in love with the city and the kind of very spooky vibe that city has. So this one is about a girl who is actually a twin. If you've read V.C. Andrews, her books are very formulaic. Very, very, very formulaic. There's usually like 5 books in a series, and each one kind of follows a certain thing. If you've read one, you've read them, you kind of know what's going to happen. But this is about a set of twins. One was raised in the bayou with the grandparents. The other sister was taken to the French Quarter in New Orleans and raised by her very wealthy father. And I believe stepmother. I think their mother died. I can't remember. It's been well over 20 years since I've read this. But the reason I got super excited is because this one has the step back. These are very hard to find, this step back edition. So yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to getting to this one. I cannot wait for that one. The next one is a book that I bought last year in March around my birthday. My husband and I went into Chapters Indigo, and I saw this one sitting on the table, and it's a historical fiction, and I got super excited about it. And I remember when I bought it, I thought, oh, that'd be a great book to read in the wintertime. And then the spring came, and the summer came, and the fall. And then now it's January, and I'm like, I need to read this now. So I'm very excited. And this is The Arctic Fury by Greer McAllister. So this is, like I said, a historical fiction novel. And it is, I'm just going to read just a little bit on the back here for you guys. Lady Jane Franklin makes an outlandish offer to adventurer Virginia Reeve to take a dozen women trek into the Arctic to find her husband, Lord Franklin, and his lost expedition. 4 parties have failed to find him, and Lady Franklin wants a radical new approach. Put the women in charge. So this is about the Franklin expedition that I think it was in the 1800s. I think they ran aground on ice and everyone died. That's pretty much how it ends, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. But I am very, very interested in this one. So yeah, they do give a little map in the front. So yeah, I don't know how much of this is based on 1854. So yeah, I am really excited about getting to this one. It looks super, super perfect for January, like cool, like cold, you know what I mean? So I think this is going to be really good. I am very, very excited. Very excited. And it is a Canadian connection. I believe that, I mean, that the Arctic, it was Canada, right? So she is from the Midwest. I was wondering if she was Canadian or not. Said she's from the Midwest, but is she now in Canada? No, she lives in Washington, D.C. So yeah, very much looking forward to that one. The next one, speaking about creepy books set in New Orleans, this one I did, you know, my randomizer, like I was saying, I randomized books that I had on my want to read list, and this one came up and I got really excited. So this is The Lost Girls of Johnson's Bayou, and this is by Jana de Leon. This is a Harlequin intrigue novel, so there is the original cover. And I don't know what this one is about, obviously missing girls or something. It's a standalone novel. This has been republished digitally with a different cover. So if you're searching for it on Kindle for yourself, you're going to see a different cover, but this is the original intrigue cover for it. I'd like to get my hands on a copy of this because I love that cover. So her books have never failed to disappoint me. They are spooky, they are creepy, they are the intrigue, which means they are like a romantic suspense, but they definitely have this more gothic feel to them, and I think that's going to be perfect for this time of year. The next one is a book I have been hearing about everywhere, and I can't remember whose channel it was when I first heard about it, but as soon as I first heard about it, I thought, oh my gosh, that is so something I want to read. Sorry for the shaking camera. The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I cannot wait to read this. It is a group of seniors who are amateur sleuths. I'm like, yes, please. This was actually a Christmas gift. So yeah, I am so excited about this one. Don't trust anyone, including the 4 septuagenarian sleuths in Osman's Laugh Out Loud Whodunit. I cannot wait. This is going to be so good. So those of you who have read this, I mean, I've only heard good things about it. So I am super excited about this one. Cannot wait to get to it. The next 2 books are both from NetGalley, and I have them both on audio. This is the first one. No, the first one is actually, the book itself is available on Kindle Unlimited. And so I think the audiobook is super cheap, but it was one of those listen now on NetGalley, and I just decided to check it out. And it's The Lucky Ones by Kirsten Modglin, I think is how you say her name. It's like very short. It's only like 6 hours long on audio, but again, it's another thriller, so I don't know too much about it. The other book, I actually requested this one as an e-arc, and I was denied. And then not even thinking, I requested the audio, and I was approved for the audio, so go figure. So whatever. This one has been buzzed about a lot. I've heard a lot of people talking about this one. I have not heard what people think about it. So I'm staying away from reviews because I just want to read it. And that is Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. I did not read The Wife Upstairs or The Woman Upstairs last year, whichever one. The Jane Eyre retelling that she wrote, I own it on Kobo, but I have not read it yet. So I really need to get to that one. But last year I did read The Ex-Hex, which was by Erin Sterling, which is Rachel Hawkins' pseudonym. And I liked that one quite a bit. But of course it was a romance, whereas I believe this is more of a thriller. So I'm really looking forward to getting to this one. It will be, like I said, on audio through NetGalley. I cannot wait. The next one is for me and Bree's book club. We, of course, host the Categorically Romance podcast. And in 2022, we're starting a book club. So a book a month from a different category line. We're super excited. We are starting off with Jill Shalvis. And the book we're going to be reading is Natural Blonde Instincts. This was originally published in the Flipside imprint, which did not run for very long. I think it only had like 30 or 40 books for that line. But you can find this book on Kindle Unlimited. It's got a different cover, but you can find this book on Kindle Unlimited. So if you want to read along with me and Bree, grab a copy. Jill Shalvis does tend to write on the spicier side of romance, just so you're aware. And we will be talking about this on the podcast the last Wednesday in January. So tune in for that and read along with us. We are putting a call out for anyone who reads the book to email us and let us know your thoughts. And we are going to read some of those thoughts out on the podcast when we do that episode. So kind of makes it a little bit more of a group participation thing. But yeah, really excited about this one. I do actually have a physical copy of this. I have this edition. I don't know where it is. I literally had it at the beginning of December in my hands and it got reshelved and I have no idea where. So I will come across it eventually. And the last one for my kind of shelf picks, when I re-randomized my book, my want to read list, this one came up and I went, yes, please. Call of the Penguins by Hazel Pryor. I have this one from NetGalley. It is the second book in the Veronica McCready series. I read How the Penguins Saved Veronica last year and loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's delightful. It's about an older woman who travels to Antarctica and how going there changes her life. And this is the follow-up. And I'm here for it. I cannot wait. I think this is going to be so, so fantastic. So the next 4 books that I have here are series picks. So I kind of substituted my library picks for series picks. But like I said, like these ones, because I don't necessarily own them, I could end up going to the library to pick up some of these or digitally from the library or what have you. So I know Elizabeth over at Lizzie Falo's Books is doing a serious about series challenge in 2022. I don't know all of the particulars about it, but I think she's at the end of the day just really encouraging you to read more books in series. So every month I have a huge list of series that I'm working my way through. And I'm just going to randomly pick 4 of them. And that's what I'm going to read for that month. So the 4 for this month, they are all romance, which is fantastic. The first one we have is The Bad Boy of Butterfly Harbor by Anna J. Stewart. This is the first book in the Butterfly Harbor series. I think I've read book 9. So I need to now go back to the beginning and start fresh. So I'm very, very much looking forward to this one. It is a Harlequin heartwarming novel. These do tend to be on the sweeter side of romance. So yeah, I really like Anna J. Stewart's writing. She is a fantastic person to talk to. I think we've interviewed her now twice on the podcast, and she's an absolute delight. Looking forward to this one. The next one is Test Drive by Samantha Chase. This is the 3rd and final book, yay, in the Road Trippin' series. So this will finish a series for me, which is super exciting. This is kind of 3 very loosely connected stories about road trip romance, essentially. So I am looking very much forward to that one. The next one is the second book in a series that I read the first one late in 2021. And that's Truly Madly Plaid by Eliza Knight. This is book 2 in the Prince Charlie's Angels series. So a Highland romance. I love the titles of these. It's a Highland road. That's all I needed to know. I enjoyed the first book. I am looking forward to this one. And last but not least, speaking of the spicier side of romance, we have Daring Her Seal by the great Anne Marsh. This is the 3rd and final book, again, in the Seals of Fantasy Island series, which is a Blaze series under the Blaze line. Again, this will finish the series for me. So that's 2 series that I will complete in January. So that is super fantastic. These are essentially about these Navy SEALs who are on this like small Caribbean island because there's like drug lords afoot or something like that. I can't remember. It's been a little while, but they're super fun. They're super, super fun, you guys. They're just fun. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah. So that is my 4 books for the TBR, or for my series picks. Next, we have TBR Bingo, which I know a lot of you are probably really excited to hear what my books that I picked, excuse me just a second, what my books are. So I have two boards. I have a board that you guys helped me pick during the 24 days of Vlogmas, where you gave me random numbers and I pulled random books from my Harlequin category shelves. So those are the first two books that I'm going to talk about, and it's technically three. So the two numbers that were picked were number 6 and number 5. So book number 6 picked was The Dad Next Door by C.J. Carmichael. So I'm looking forward to this one. It's a Harlequin super romance. These are always a lot of fun. C.J. Carmichael is a great author. She does tend to write on the sweeter side of romance. Much like the special edition novels now, the super romance was similar in the aspect that some of the books, depending on the author, went a little more spicy or a little bit more sweet. And C.J. Carmichael definitely writes on the sweeter side, but her books are still really good. So I am looking forward to that one. And book number 5 that was picked was my bind up, the one bind up that I got. So we're starting January off with a bang. And this is Claiming Her Ground by Julie Miller and Janine Crouch. When I showed this one to you guys when I picked it during Vlogmas, I asked just in general how you guys would list this one on Goodreads. And all of you said pretty much the same thing that I was thinking, to list it as the two separate books. Because these are both previously published works that have been bound up into one novel. I will be reading it in this edition, but I'm going to count each book separately. So I'm going to hold this over here, and I'm going to pop up the covers of both books. So we've got, the first one is Kansas City Cop by Julie Miller. This is the 33rd book in the Precinct series that she does. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is not a series you need to read in any kind of order. They're just about police precincts, I'm assuming. And the second book is Armed Response by Janine Crouch, or Janie Crouch, I believe. And it's book number 5 in the Omega Sector Under Siege series. So as you can tell, that is the cover that they used for this. So yeah, both of these were originally Harlequin intrigue novels. And I'm looking forward to getting to this one. So that one should be a lot of fun. So the other board that I had, the other bingo board that I had, were NetGalley books. So essentially what I did was I went through all of the books that I still have to read, and there's a lot of them, that came out last year that I got approved for in NetGalley. And I picked 24 of them that I remember being super excited about receiving them, like the fact that I was approved for them, but never got to them. So essentially that's what's on this list. Now, the first book is actually a Christmas book. And the one thing I try not to do in January is read Christmas books, because generally I tend to burn myself out with them at the tail end of the year, especially in December. So I tend to give myself January as a break. However, the number that came up happened to be a Christmas book. And I thought to myself, well, you guys didn't know what I had on these. I could just switch it around. But I'm like, no. We'll read it. It came up for a reason. Maybe I'm supposed to read it now. So I'm excited about it. Spot number 6 was The Secret of Snow by Viola Shipman. This one looks really good. The cover of it is gorgeous. And yeah, I don't know too much about it, but I just remember being super, super excited about it, and I can't wait to get to it. And the other book for spot number 5 was It Started With a Dog by Julia London. This one is book 2 in the Lucky Dog series. I've read book 1. I really liked book 1. I am really excited about getting to book number 2. That cover just looks so charming and so cute. So yeah, so there are my TBR bingo picks for the month of January. And 2 more little sections here. So as you guys know, I have been rereading my way through the Babysitters Club for the past while. I think in 2021, that's pretty much all I read were Babysitters Club. Like in terms of throwback or childhood books I read when I was younger. So I went to the thrift store the other day, and you guys are going to see this in a vlog tomorrow. I hit the thrift store like 3 or 4 times over the last 3 or 4 days. And the one day I got some Babysitters Club books, some Sweet Valley High books, and some old Nancy Drew books. I was super excited. And it got me thinking. I was looking at the list of Babysitters Club books I still need to read, and it's going to take me years. At reading for a month, it's going to take me at least a couple more years to finish off that series. And that's all well and good. But I kind of really also want to start reading some Sweet Valley High again. I want to start reading some Nancy Drew again. I'm interested in Fear Street, like rereading through those ones. So what I decided to do instead of picking 4 Babysitters Club books is I took those 5 series that I am really interested in. The Babysitters Club, Sweet Valley High, the original Nancy Drew series, so the one with the yellow covers, the Nancy Drew mystery stories, and then the Nancy Drew Files, which is the series that came out in the 80s when I was a kid, and then Fear Street. So I'm picking one from each, and I'm going to try that for the year. So really at the end of the day, I'll be reading through these series much, much, much slower because, at one a month, you're only reading 12 in a year, right? However, I just think that having what's the word I'm looking for? The variety is going to be a lot more fun. And because like with the Babysitters Club, it's fine. I can read those back to back to back. It doesn't bother me. But when I get to something like Sweet Valley, I will be honest, I loved that series. I loved it. However, they're campy. There's only so much you can take of those. So I think by doing something like that in snippets, it's going to make it a lot easier. So here are the 5 books for what I'm calling my throwback picks. No longer the Back to My Childhood. These are the throwback picks. So the next Babysitters Club book that I have to read is Marianne and the Library Mystery. This is BSC Mystery number 13. So I'm reading the Babysitters Club series in publication order. So the last book I just read, I'm actually going to be reading it today, is a regular series book, Dawn and the We Love Kids Club. This one comes next in publication order. So that's why I'm dipping in and out of the regular series, the mystery series, the super specials. It's going to be a little bit all over the place, but it does make sense because I do have a list of all of them in chronological order. The next book is The Sweet Valley, and it is Dear Sister by Francine Pascal. This is book number 7 in the Sweet Valley High series. And again, this is another one that I'm going to be reading in chronological order. I found another list online listing how these books were published, again, putting in the super specials or the special editions and the super mysteries and the thrillers and all the other things that happen in Sweet Valley and where they fall within, because essentially these were a soap opera. Let's be real. These were a teenage soap opera in book form, but I am looking forward to this one. Next, we have the 2 Nancy Drew books. So the first one is going to be The Mystery of the Ivory Charm, of course, by Carolyn Keene. Whatever. We all know Carolyn. There was no one named Carolyn Keene who wrote these books, but we're just going to use that as the author. And this is book 13 in the Nancy Drew Mystery Stories series. So this is the Yellow Spine series that a lot of people are very familiar with in terms of Nancy Drew. And then we have the Nancy Drew Files, which is False Moves by Carolyn Keene, which is book 9 in that Nancy Drew Files series. This is the series that came out in the 80s. Unlike the original series, what this one kind of was a bit more, Ned, her boyfriend, really played a bigger role in it. They end up breaking up and getting back together. And it kind of deals a lot more with that drama as well, along with the mystery itself. The older series kind of really focused just on the mystery and maybe the friendship with Bess and George. But the 80s series definitely had much more of a, I don't want to say Sweet Valley High, feel to it because it didn't have that kind of like high school drama. But it definitely dealt a lot more with romance and along with the mystery and stuff. You could label these almost as a YA romantic suspense, I guess, if you wanted to. I wouldn't go that far, but you know what I mean. And the last one for my throwback books is actually The New Girl by R.L. Stine, which is the very first book in the Fear Street series. I did read this book a couple of years ago, but I'm doing a reread of it because it's been a while, but I actually have it. So the cover I'm popping up here is the original publication cover. I'd love to be able to find it, but it's super expensive online. But I did buy last year this bind-up of the first 4 books in the Fear Street series, so I will be reading it out of this book here. So this one has The New Girl, The Surprise Party, The Overnight, and Missing, which are the first 4 books in the series. And I took the time yesterday because I'm on vacation, had nothing much else to do, and I went through the Fear Street series in publication order, and I made a list of how they are going to get read because there were a lot of like offshot series, like trilogies that fell outside the original series, like the Fear Street Saga series, the Cheerleader series, and then they also had these Super Chillers, which were like thicker Fear Street books. So I made a list. So if anyone's interested in the list, let me know. I'm happy to send it to you. So I did put that together, and that's how I will be reading these ones. So I'm very excited about that. Now that I'm saying that, I need to do that for the Nancy Drew Files because they had super mysteries, which were Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys together, and I loved those. So I'm going to have to find out where they fall in the original series and read them. But anyway, yeah, so Fear Street is the last one. And the final book, this is a longer video story, you guys. You guys know I love to do these so much. Is my classic for the month. We're going with the one that started it all. Like the one that got me wanting to do this whole classics read. And that is Pride and Prejudice by the great Jane Austen. This is a reread, sort of. I read it years ago, but I couldn't tell you what happened in it. So I do have the audiobook for this one from Audible. And I think what I might do is, I mean, I listen to my audiobooks now at like a 1.5 speed. If I try and go any higher than that, I just get completely confused. And I used to be able to listen at 2.5 times speed. I just can't do it anymore. Not to really focus and be able to pay attention. So what I might do is I might do audio and read along. I haven't decided yet, so we shall see. But yeah, I do have this gorgeous word cloud edition of it. So I love this so much. So that means that next month in February, I will be reading Pride, Prejudice, and Other Flavors by Sonelia Dev. So I think for the first 8 months, or whatever, the beginning of the year, it's going to be an Austen and then something else, and then an Austen and then something else. Until I get the 4 Austen books done that I want to read. So anyway, that is that. I am rambling. Please let me know in the comments below. Have you read any of these and what you thought about them? No spoilers though, please. And if you didn't like it, I don't want to know. Actually, you know what? No, don't share your thoughts with me, because I kind of really like to go into books with like out all the hype. But let me know what is on your TBR for the month of January, you guys. And until my next video, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.